Hello everyone, welcome back to day 10 of the 100 Days of UI Design Challenge with Veera, and today we have a very special episode. Today we have a very special effect that you don't see that often, I don't see that often, but I like it. Today we're going to make it. So let's just get started. Alright, so to get started, you're going to very simply go to Google, go to Firefox, whatever it is you're using, go and search for Figma downloads, figma.com/downloads. If you haven't downloaded Figma yet, you need to install Figma very first to get started. Alright, when you open Figma downloads, you can choose your desktop app for Windows or Mac OS, and you can install whatever device you're currently on. And once you've done that, you're going to go to your Figma app. Let's just make this smaller, exit out of this UI and click on a new file. We'll go and click on a new design file very simply. And the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to get started with the frame. Since this is a wide website, 1920 by 1080, it's your width and height resolution for this frame. Just click to create a frame and resize it after that. 1920 by 1080. Alright, now we have a frame. The next thing we need to do is we need to set up a background color. I'm thinking of a light yellow orange kind of shade. You can just play around with it, adjust the colors to see what you like. Alright, now that we've done that, just make it as light as you possibly can. Alright, we've got a couple of chat messages rolling in. Payal says, "Hi Veera, I had a request in any video. Can you explain the difference between a web app and a website and maybe design a web app? I am really not able to find a good video around web apps." Web apps are just applications that run as websites, and I'm going to expand a little on that. So suppose you have a website, www.yourwebsite.com. That's accessible through your web URL. Now sometimes you want some features like an app. The primary difference between a website and an app is a website runs on your web browser, an app is installed. An app also usually performs some things that are sort of very specific, like just it stays in your mobile and it performs very specific uses. Like, for example, we have smart devices and they have apps that accompany them. Sometimes when you take a website, try to change it into an app, and there is a process for that. So sometimes as a programmer, you take a website, you try to change it into an app without coding differently. So both websites and apps are programmed differently. Websites are made through HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Apps have their own programming languages. You can have Swift for Apple, you can have Flutter, which works for both Android and Apple. You can have Kotlin for Android. So these are made differently. Usually they work a little bit differently. For example, if you are just introduced to a company, you go to their website. If you're already using their services, they have this app which you can use every single day. They're used for two different purposes. They're also programmed differently. Sometimes what you want is you want this website which performs an amazing service to also be available as an app, but you don't want to code it differently. So you create a web app where it performs a service and then it does that job differently. So I'm trying to get the point across here. a website that performs some service, not just introduces itself. Sometimes there are websites which are not web apps that just say, hi, my name is this, welcome to this. Apps don't just introduce themselves, apps also perform some services. When your website performs some service and it is both compatible and usable as a website and an app, it becomes a web app. Web apps usually perform services such as downsizing your image, upscaling some resolution. You have a blur image, you put it in a web app, it transforms it, makes it into this great, mostly removes the pixelation, the blurring, whatever it is, makes it a really nice image. So web apps usually perform services, and the difference is subtle. You can design a web app, you can design an app, you can design a website, all of which can be done inside of Figma itself. You can go on programming these, and the reason I like the programming languages for websites is that websites are programmed in a way where web apps can also be programmed, but it's not the other way around. If you program apps, you can't make web apps. If you make websites, you can make web apps and websites. Sometimes there are exceptions, some developers know everything, but for the most part, web apps perform services that websites simply don't. So they are technically websites, but their capabilities have been increased, and you sort of go around from there. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to have a very simple, in fact we might have a episode on web app at some point, a video, not recently because we have a lot of things to do right now, but it is definitely on my radar. We will get into it at some point because we have a portfolio masterclass as well. We have a couple of things coming along, which, by the way, everything is available in your Discord server. It is in your messages. You can join the Discord server, whoever's watching. We will now create a very simple text because we want all of this animation, all of this cool stuff to go through the text. We'll increase the font size. Like Control A will help you get everything. Increase your font size to as big as you want. Maybe go around 300, and I'm just throwing numbers at a wall here. I don't know which exact numbers are perfect, so we'll just go around 500. The font that we're using for this one is called Rubik. It's a good font, and especially if you make it thicker, it gives you this really nice shape, which lets you work around a lot of fonts. Alright, let's make it 650. I just want it to be big. You have a couple of Rubik variations which you can find. I love all of them. Rubik 1 is just really simple. Rubik Moonrocks lets you have these spaces. Mono 1 is a mono kind of font mixed with Rubik. You have Rubik Microbiome, which I might use at some point. It has these little patches and stuff. Rubik Glitch, it's good for matrix kind of UIs. Rubik Bubbles font. Rubik Beastly, hairy and furry font. Rubik is a plain font. We'll just get it down to 600, something we like. And again, you guys, I'm trying to get my timing at 8 just right, but sometimes this time we just shifted to a new laptop and that caused a little bit of setup delay to occur. Okay, now we're going to go to our plugins, and before I do anything at all related to special effects, I want to have my basic menu and logos sorted up top. So I'll just go right here, go to plugins, go to save plugins. In save plugins, you get your iconify, and once you have that, you're going to look at logos for our app. Just the simplest thing you can do. We'll just search for cake, and that's going to give us a couple of really nice looking logos. We'll just go with the first one. These aren't logos, by the way. These are icons that are used throughout the internet. We're just using them as placeholders because we don't have any actual logos right now. We're also looking for a menu. We might take one of these and modify them if we are not happy with the way these menus look. So for example, you could take this and remove the top bar. That would give you a really nice 2-level menu, but I'm not going to do that. Let's just make it big, make it thicker, give it a width of 3. All right, today's effect is a really cool one, really special one. For those of you who are joining us right now, let me demonstrate that for just a second. This is a little bit of what we're going to be making today. Let me just make it fit this bit. All right, this effect is what we're making today. It's quite special, it's really nice, and it just gives you this really nice feel, which I would love to see in more apps. It's not done right now, but it's super special, it's super cool, and I'm absolutely in love with the way this works. All right, let's just close it off for now. Close everything off just for the moment. And as I was saying, let's modify this menu a little bit. So we'll just take this other menu bar, and when you're aligning things towards your right side, you always want to make it seem that everything else is also aligned, and I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second. Oops. Okay. So because this menu icon is aligned towards the right, it is always better to show that the internal lines inside of this are also aligned towards right. It's just more clean that way. All right, we'll go to our font now. And when you're using something which is not exactly white, it doesn't hurt to have texts and stuff which aren't exactly black. So white and black go well together, but if your background isn't exactly white, it's a little bit yellow, it's a little bit orange, you can always change your blacks to a darker shade of brown. And this starts looking really well. You could go anywhere from this shade to darker, but I'm just going to go with this one. I like it. All right. You can always increase the width and height of these strokes, get them to a nice position where it just works well. All right, and now we're going to get started with the special effect, the absolute best part of this whole thing. So if you join the Discord group, you will find a folder with 4 different images. These are going to be the 4 images that you're going to find. I've downloaded those images from our Discord server, and currently I'm just, you know what, let me just import those images in Figma. We'll just go to Control-Shift-K, get all of these images, open them, and place them all. Sometimes it takes a while to work. You might want to repeat what you do. Images aren't always imported as smoothly as we'd like. Let's just take all of these images manually, drag and drop them, and that gives us this really nice group of 4 different images. We'll take our first image, and we'll basically start by using these images to fill these alphabets. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to select our first alphabet, and we're going to change its fill to an image. We'll choose this image, and we'll choose the first image that is in your Discord group. It's the wrong one. Let's just make these icons really big. Okay, I'm just getting some context for now. So you're going to take this image with the orange background, brown cake, and open it. And now we're going to start shifting this around. So to shift it around, you're going to choose crop, and that's going to give you this beautiful 4 angled cursor which you can use to shift around. This gives you a really nice position where you can start shifting things around. All right, you can also try what we're doing with a couple of different fonts. You can use Inter, you can use any other fonts you like, but I'm just good with Inter, so we'll just go ahead with that. So we're going back to C. Adjusting these images takes a lot of time, and it is in fact the best part you're going to come across in this UI. All right, now we'll just position these just to look, just till it looks good. I think this works fine, and I'm going to just do it, let it just be, because if I start adjusting it, then we're going to have to wait for a really long while. Okay, next we're going with this image. This is actually positioned to look quite perfect, so I'm not going to mess around with it a lot. Next we're going to go to another alphabet, which is K. This is where things really start to look interesting. Okay, and now we'll start by repositioning it. We'll go to crop, and now we have a job to make this image smaller. So we'll just click on the shift key and drag it, and make sure this line aligns with this line together. All right, so this is actually quite nice. Now we might want to make it a little bit bigger, just a little bit bigger, not a lot, just a little bit. This looks good. Let's just go ahead with it. All right, next we'll go to images and click on choosing an image. The next one will look like this. This is again the brightest one which we can find. Go to crop. This is a very simple thing. Go to crop, click on shift, make it smaller, drag it up. You still might want to make it smaller. Always click on shift while making it smaller. Just adjust it just enough so that it fits. All right, this looks good. Let's just leave it at that. And now you see our UI is really starting to come together. All right, this looks pretty much good enough for me now. Just drag it up or down. You can also make it scale without any worry about proportion. That is something you can do, but I don't recommend it. It comes out looking wonky at times. All right, and this is what we have at the end of this. I'm just going to adjust it one more time because why not? Let's just make it smaller. We just make it sit, and this looks good. This looks good enough. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and actually start implementing our special effects. So we'll just go above, copy and paste this whole thing, take it right here, and change the fill for this from a color to an image. And we'll take it, you know what, let's not do that. Let's not do that. That is going to complicate on its face. We'll just take it, copy and paste it. Let's just move these images out of the way so we can have a clearer view. We'll just remove these images because they're already present in our downloads folder where we have downloaded them from our Discord. Let's take the other frame. Nope. Okay, we'll just go and click on the square tool or rectangle tool, whatever it is, and take our rectangle, place it right here, and then we'll copy and paste this rectangle inside of this frame. You always want to make sure that they are named the same. So you want both the rectangles to be named rectangle 1 or whatever it is you want to name it. Just drag and drop it to occupy the full width and height, and then send it to the back of everything. Change the fill for this rectangle to our actual first image. Okay, this looks good. And I know it looks a little bit weird and a little bit wonky right now, but it will fix itself. If you're not completely happy with the way it looks, you can just go to your rectangle one more time and click on crop. Just drag it to occupy the complete width and place it right here. And we'll go back to our rectangle, and right now you don't have to worry about cropping anything. Just choose your image and leave it at that. You don't have to worry about cropping and shaping it, and you just have to make sure that this rectangle is behind the actual C of the cake, but still it remains inside of the frame. You don't have to worry about cropping anything right now. Okay, and this is where we'll start to resolve the atrocity that this looks like. We'll just change the fill to a complete shade of white. FFFFF is your shortcut for white. Actually, it's the hex code. Take all of these other different alphabets. Oops. We'll go to this. What is going on? Alright, we'll go to this text. Click on all of these. Click on fill. Change this fill to a color. We'll change this color to white. Just type FFF here. It's the hex code for white. And change the opacity just a little bit, just so that it's quite translucent. Okay, this looks good. I'm just going to go ahead with 48%, and this is our first effect. So we'll just start by prototyping this. You don't want to have these screen prototypes going on, so you'll just prototype this. You know what, let's just separate these alphabets, because you can only prototype this whole thing to this whole page, which we don't want. We want to prototype separate alphabets to separate frames. So we're just going to separate this. We'll just take it, Control C, copy, Control V, paste. Oops. We'll just take it, paste it, take it outside, and start by separating these. The way we separate them is we'll just drag them out to separate places and start removing 3 characters at a time. We'll just remove these. Oops. You know what, let's just okay, so something that I'm just getting aware of right now is when you start moving these, you get this really weird effect that happens with your image fill, but we can fix that. We can completely fix that. So the way we're going to fix that, and I'm just getting aware of this challenge as we speak, we'll just take it. This is a very, very simple fix. Export it as a PNG. PNG lets you remove your background. Save it. Control Shift K to get your other image inside. One more time. Just click on Control Shift K. That lets you have another different image. We'll get this image inside and we'll click on Place All. This lets us place our image, and we'll remove this because we don't need it anymore. We'll just create 4 different copies of the same image. The advantage that taking it as an image gives you is it doesn't make you worry about your different image fills and how they're going to be impacted if you remove 3 fonts. We'll just take it and remove it like this. To get around the issues we were having, there are a couple of ways in programming, but as far as UI design is concerned, you can always rely on exporting images and then importing back again as a technique to get around a couple of Figma issues. We'll just take it and position it back and place our image right here once again. Next, we're just going to use these images in the background as guides on where to place our newfound images. We'll just shift them using arrow keys. Arrow keys come in real handy right now in this scenario. We'll just take this image one more time, move it right here. We'll take this image once again, position it exactly where we positioned the last one. Okay, this works perfectly. Just align it if you're not happy with the way it looks until it is perfectly aligned. Alright, now we have a beautiful image and we're going to remove this text. Now we start prototyping. Take our first image, navigate to it, on click, use the Smart Animate feature. Smart Animate is always your savior when you're doing these UIs, and choose the Gentle feature. Alright, just so we know what we're doing, We'll test this out first. Before we do that, we'll just go right here, zoom in, give the user an option to escape if they're not happy with, or if they're just done with the whole thing. We'll just go right here, change this, just click on the pen tool, change this whole vector into a cross. It'll transition beautifully. You don't have to worry about that. You just have to basically transition it into a beautiful cross, and this is going to be real helpful. Kiwi says hello Kiwi, welcome to the stream. Today we're making a really special effect. You can go back to the beginning of the stream and check it out. Alright, now we'll just start by prototyping it just to get a sense of what we're doing. Of course, there is a couple of things we need to sort out, but let's just see what we're working with for now. Okay, I think the screen resolution is fixed. Alright, now when you click on C, you're taken to this beautiful image, and when you, in fact, we have to change that right now. Let's just give this a prototype interaction of on click, navigate to frame 1, smart animate, gentle. Okay, now we'll just make sure one little thing is taken care of. So you remember we made this rectangle which we placed behind the C. Well, we have to rename it to you know what, let's just rename it to rectangle 1, REC1, and we'll go ahead and take our other rectangle. Make sure you match your case. You don't want to have one alphabet capital, one alphabet small. We'll rename it to REC1 once again, and we'll see if this has any difference whatsoever in our prototype. So now when we click on this, it actually animates really beautifully, and when you click on cross, it goes back. We'll just repeat this a couple of other times. We'll just remove this frame, and now when we want to program our other alphabets to work similarly, we'll just take the other frame. We won't take the first frame because the first frame does not have this cross, it does not have this image fill background, it does not have a lot of things which you'll have to work on once again. So we'll just copy as a bunch of times, take the second frame, we're happy with it, and so we'll just place it at the top. We'll bring these two closer together just to get an idea of what we're working with. Take this frame, go to REC1, we'll rename this rectangle to REC rectangle 2. Go to the frame, change, you know what, let's just go to the rectangle. Rectangle has the image fill. We'll choose another image. This image is again going to be found in the Discord server. Click the link in the live chat, the pinned comment, to go there. Okay, this is the way the second one looks. If you are not happy with the way this looks, you can always change it. Nope, you're going to go to the rectangle, click on crop, move it around a little bit just until you're happy with what is in front of you. Okay, I'm happy with this now. I am going to change all of my other alphabets again. Something that I have to mention right here is, if your image has a darker background like this one, having low percentage of opacity for the whites is going to work out just fine. But if it doesn't, like in this one, you're going to have a hard time seeing things. So for darker backgrounds, it's okay to have your opacity be around 48. In fact, we can increase it to be around 55. It won't have much of an impact. You can still see the difference visibly. But if your background is white like in the second one, then you want to start changing your opacity. So we'll change the opacity to be around 72 for this one, just so we know that there is a little bit of a difference. 72, oops, 73 works as well. And now we'll just go right here, you'll go to the selection colors, get the whites which have 48% opacity, change it to 72, 73, whatever you want. Like this doesn't cause that much difference. And we're going to go to the alphabet that is currently selected, the one we want, change its opacity to white, 100%. What is going on? Okay. All right. We'll just change the fill. We'll remove any fill we have and then give it a fill of 100% white. For some reason now this is started to look transparent even though we haven't done anything special. Let's just do this again. We'll just CAKE one more time. Remove any fill because this is starting to work in a fashion which we don't want it to work in. Remove this fill. I think it's glitching now. We'll just, this happens, it's fine. We'll remove it, copy the other CAKE from the other frame, copy it, click on the frame, and then that lets you place it exactly where it was in the previous one. Change the opacity for this one to be 100%. Change the opacity for this one to be exactly the same as the other one, which was 55. Although we're not happy with 55, when all of these have the same opacity, we can change their opacity at the same time. So we'll just go into the 55%. This will select everyone with 50, every single alphabet with the 55%. And this gives us our second frame, which we are also happy with. Let's prototype this just so it works a little bit better. We'll just go right here. It is already prototyped to link right here. We'll also make a different rectangle, place it, click on the design tab, go to the fill, change this value to choose a different image, place the image, don't worry about cropping this image, send it behind everything, just don't worry about where it is, send it behind everything. And finally, we'll rename this to REC2. Again, in this UI design, it's suggested you have your caps lock key on because almost everything we're typing is working in your always capital letters. We are happy with the way the second one looks. We'll just take it, place it somewhere else, and now we're going to work with our fourth frame. So we'll just drag the first frame to be around the fourth frame just so we have a closer sense of what we're working with, and we'll change the background image one more time. We'll rename this to be REC3, and we're going to change the image one more time. What do you guys think of this UI? Let me know in the comments. And obviously we come live every single day at 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time with a new UI design. Alright, this gives us a really nice third image as well. We'll change this to be, because this is a dark background again, I'm not bothering with changing the percentages a whole lot. We'll just give it a 55 and that works. We'll change the opacity for this one to 100 because that is the one we're currently using. Change the opacity for this C to 55 again. And we'll take it, create a different square, place it right here, select another image. Don't worry about cropping it at all. You can get these images from the Discord server. You can find the link in the first pinned comment. We'll just send it behind everything. Did you guys check out yesterday's episode? Just renaming it really simply. Did you guys check out yesterday's episode? It was weird to say the least. Anyways, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to reposition the fourth one. The fourth one is the most prettiest one in my opinion. We'll just go and create a different image. Choose the image. How was it? How was the yesterday's stream? Because there weren't a lot of comments. I didn't know if you were shocked or stunned or a mix of both, or it was just so bad no one could say anything about it. I don't know anymore. And we'll place it behind everything. We are happy with the way this UI is also working. We'll just take it, place it above, take our fifth frame, place it near the first frame, Go to the rectangle, rename this rectangle to REC4. Oops. And now we're going to go to our rectangle, change this image to this beautiful image, drag it just so the pink is also visible. I am really happy with the way this is looking. Okay, one last thing that we need to take care of is these logos need to be white. If your background is dark, you always want your logos to be white, because dark on dark is not a good combination. This looks fine. We'll just go ahead with it. This is the most beautiful one in my opinion. We'll just change this E to be, you know what, I am a little bit surprised to see what it would look like. The 55% opacity works well. We'll just change the opacity to be 55. 48 looked even better. We'll just go ahead with 48. And again, because all of these are different backgrounds, you can always work with different opacities to see what works best. It truly doesn't matter what opacity the other fonts have, as long as it looks pretty. We'll change the opacity to be white 100% and change the opacity of this C to be a really simple 48. This is one of the simplest UIs we've ever done on this channel, and it is one of the best ones. Like, this takes the least amount of time by far. So like in 36 minutes of streaming, we've made this pretty UI. We'll just go right here, click on this. We'll go right here, click on it, and we'll go to this guy, change it to right here. And all of these screens have a square which brings it back to the first frame. We just have to check for it. All right. You know what? Let's just test how this works out first. We just close it, click on present. Alright, and now we have a really beautiful UI to work with. We'll just change it to fit width, to fit the whole width of the whole thing. Click on the C. This works out really well. Close it, click on A. This works really well. Close it, click on K. This looks really well as well. Click on E. This looks really well as well, but it isn't transitioning the way I planned it to. You might have to do something about that. We'll go right here, change it to REC4, change this guy to REC4 as well. This is the fourth rectangle. REC, delete 4. And you know what would be really cool? If we were able to click on this and it would go to the AUI. We'll do that. We'll definitely do that. The way we do that is, since we had to separate all of these images inside of this UI, we'll have to separate these images as well. So that's a little bit time taking, but we need to do it. We'll just export this image in the design tab. Export it. For this UI, you'll have to create 4 different folders. You know what? Let's just make a main folder and we'll just get everything in. So once you download all of your images, you just place them inside of a main folder. And what it's going to do is it's going to just separate what we are working with, because the part that we're about to get into requires a lot of folders. Oops. The folders are not working. We'll just click on all of these images. And again, this works just as well if you don't have folders. Just take your image, Control X, go to the main tab, paste it. It's going to take a little bit of time, I believe. Is it moving? I don't think it is. We'll just go to the File Explorer, take all of these images, Control X, go to our main folder, place it inside. And we'll go back, Control X, place this image inside. Again, if there is a folder already in the Discord group, that will make your job really simple. And now all of your images are inside of this folder. The reason I asked you to create this folder is because it's going to have 4 different folders inside of it, which we'll just rename 1, 2, 3 and 4. I know, real innovative. 4 different folders and 4. We have 4 folders now, and the reason we have to create these folders is because all of these images don't need to get mixed up, because this image has an opacity of 48% for all the fonts that are lighter, but this image has an opacity of 72% for all the fonts that are light. So if you even by mistake end up mixing these images, A, it's not going to look as well, it's not going to work in the fashion we want it to. B, the opacity for all of these is different, so you don't want them to get mixed up at all. We'll take all of these images, we'll take the first one, export it inside of our first folder, go to our main folder, go to number 1, save it there. We'll take the second one, export it, go to our second folder, we'll go to the main folder, go to the second tab, place it there. We'll take our third image, export it, take it outside, and again we're about 90% done at this point. Go to the last folder, place it there. We'll take this last one and we'll just export it, place it exactly where we want it to. We'll just place it in our 4th tab. This looks good. We'll just start by animating the alphabets for this one. So we'll just go Control Shift K. We're 90% done here, so close to completing the whole thing. Control Shift K. I'm on a new setup, I don't know where the keys are. Go to the 4th one, place this image. It's going to have the right opacity. Place it exactly where the old one was. You know what, let's just not do it right now. Let's just create, and while we're working with this, let's just give this page a darker value just so we can have a good look at our images. We'll just duplicate them a couple of times, 4 times to be exact. Remove all of the other fonts other than each individual font. And I know this takes a little bit of time, but the end result is the most beautiful thing you will ever come across. Again, we'll just take it right here, place it. Oops, one more time. Take it, place it, take it, place it, take it, and you guessed it, we're going to place it again. Okay, now we have all of our 4 different images. We're just going to take them, place them inside of our frame. Take the very first guy, C, place it exactly where our old C was. We'll position all of our images through arrow keys. Arrow keys are going to save you so much time. Take it, shift it above, place it exactly where we want it to be placed. Take the other 2 images, drag and drop them inside of the image. Take this E, shift it above, place it exactly where we want the other E to be. Shift it. I'm just going to give this one a stroke. Oops, no, that doesn't work. Let's just give this a fill. That doesn't work either. We'll just remove this fill, place it where we're happy. Take K, place it right there, and now we're going to remove this CAKE text. We can shift it a little bit if you're not happy with the way it looks, but I am completely happy with the way it looks, so I'm just going to go and change this E and prototype it to be with the first frame. It has the same settings we want. You can just copy them, wait, and do it again one last time, and you don't have to worry about doing it with this screen, but you can just place it on this one. And we're basically going to do the same exact thing once more. Again, if you like this, if you're going to make it, let me know in the comments really quickly. Just type I if you're going to ever make this yourself, and share whatever you make with me across social media with the hashtag 100 days of UI design with Veera. Alright, we'll just go, this is the first image, so we'll just crop it, copy and paste it 3 more times. Go to crop 1 more time, shift it, place it again. Like this video, guys, if you're liking the way we're doing things, so that it reaches a lot of people and we can obviously go live every single day. Alright, and now we're going to shift this around to have K in the center. Go right here, shift this around to have E in the center. And we'll take all of these, zoom in, go to the design tab, take this first guy, place it exactly. It becomes a little more difficult if you have a plain white alphabet, but you can manage it with a little bit of practice. We'll just place it in the center, take this A, place it with the text, use the shift key, use the arrow keys just to get these things just right. Go to K, place it, basically we're doing the exact same thing, but it takes a little bit of time, but the end result is so worth it. Okay, we'll just remove this CAKE. And the one last thing I want you to do is remind yourself what these alphabets are. So for A, we'll just rename it to A. For E, we'll just rename it to E. For K, we'll just rename it to K. And this isn't just for you, this is for the Smart Animate feature as well. This helps Smart Animate work so well, like the end result works so well. We'll just go right here, change it to A, go right here, change it to K, go right here, change it to E. Alright, and now we're just going to prototype this. Just take it, put it on its own screen. This works. We'll take the first A, take it right here, take K, place it right here. You can just fast forward this portion if you're watching the recorded version. And what this does is it gives us this beautiful UI. So we'll just prototype this now, and while it's prototyping, we'll complete the other two as well. So we'll just go here, right here, click on Control Shift K, go to the main tab, go to 2, take it, place all, crop it. I know this takes a little bit of time, requires a lot of patience, but if you get it done, it gives you the most beautiful effect in the whole world. Take it, shift it, place it one last time, go right here, take it, shift it, place it in the center. This works. We'll just use our arrow keys, copy it 2 other times. Oops, this works. We'll just go right here, take it, go to the crop button, take it, shift it, place it, go back, click on the crop button, click on the up arrow key. Oops. One last time, copy and paste the whole thing, shift it, place it in the center. We might want to position this a little bit as well. This works. We'll just take it, take all of these are for our second UI. We'll just take it right here, and then you know the drill. You'll just repeat the steps. Speaking of these steps, Let me know how you liked yesterday's video. It was weird, to say the least. Really quickly, comment what you think about the last one. Would you like to see a plugins video in Figma covered? Because I'm thinking of doing a top 5 plugins every UI designer needs to know kind of video for the main videos of this channel, not a live stream. Let me know what you think. And we'll just rename this to K, rename this to A, rename this to C, rename this to E. Change these. Where is the text for this one? We'll just remove this guy. Where is this text even coming from? We'll remove this. Oops. Yep, we need to remove it. Make it visible. Take our fourth image, place it inside of our frame. Rename it to E. Alright, now that this is ready, we'll just take a look at this. This works really well. This works better than I imagined it to work. Alright, we'll just position it one last time. Prototype it. This will go to its own frame. Go to K, place it right here. Go to E, place it right here. And now we'll just do the one last frame. Control Shift K, one final frame, one final time. Control Shift and K. Get our last frame. And that's going to be about it. We're about 99% done with this whole thing. One last frame left to do. We'll just place it. Crop it. Take it, crop it once again. Control C, Control V. Join the Discord group for all of the images, everything that we do. Thank you, Kiwi. That's really nice of you. I didn't think it was that motivational. I thought it was a wonky affair. Anyways. I think I just replied to the comment without reading it out first. Alright, Kiwi said it was very motivational to see how you transition from a beginner to how you are now. It's not that motivational, believe me. It's just practice without really thinking about much else. Alright, and now we're almost done. We are done with this whole thing. Tomorrow's UI is the one I'm really excited about, you guys. Like, I know I say this all the time, and this UI is also pretty special, but tomorrow's UI is one you don't want to miss out on. Watch it live or watch it as a recorded version. It's always available. Tomorrow's UI is going to be by far one of the best UIs we have ever done on this channel. I'm so proud of tomorrow's UI. Alright, and like that, we have our whole thing ready. We'll just remove the first one, rename these, and with that, I believe we're just done. Take the whole thing, change A, change C, prototype this one last time. Oops, take C, move it, take A, move it. You don't want to worry about these settings, because once you've done one of these properly, all of these will be done properly. But if you haven't done one of these properly, then you might want to do the whole thing again. And we'll go right here, we'll place it back. Just close your previous prototype. Kiwi says, because I'm a beginner too, it helps me relate to how you were then and how I am now. I can also improve. Everyone can improve. That's absolutely true. That is absolutely true, because we always have the humblest, weirdest, funniest beginnings, and it just works out. Like, it just does. We'll just go back to our first frame. Why is it not? All right, this I believe we need to position it exactly the way we want Figma to detect it. So we'll just place it right here. Take frame 5, place it right here, go back, click on the first one, click on the second one, click on the third one. You might want to adjust these just a little bit, but it doesn't even matter at the end of the day. You want to close it and go back to the main screen, you can do that. You can go to the first frame as well. This is one of the most beautiful UIs we've ever done on this channel. A beautiful effect in UI design. You can use it on your portfolio. I would absolutely love to see you guys use it on your portfolio. Whoever you're presenting your portfolio to would also like to see this kind of effects, because basic UI designs are always going to be there. But when you have something like this, if not as the complete UI design, just as a little bit of an element of your whole UI design, it adds that special something which helps you get hired, which helps you get your first job fast, easy. And like that, we are done with our first UI, with our UI design for today. Before I publish it for all of you guys to see, let me know if there's anything I need to change or anything else I need to add to this prototype. Otherwise, I'm just going to copy this link, place it in the chat, and now you can just click on it and we'll see how many people are actually present right here. Alright, so we've got a couple of people watching. Hello Anonymous. Hello Anonymous. Again, we don't know anyone's names, but this is good enough as well for me. And of course, every single beautiful thing comes to an end. I don't want to go, you guys. Today has been one of the most spectacular, one of the most beautiful UI designs we've ever done on this channel. I am so proud of this one. You can always come back and look at it. It is going to be in the live streams for this channel. So amazing, coming to you guys every single day with another live stream. This has been day 10. Congratulations if you've made it this far through the journey. We're 1/10 of the way done. We'll be live for another 90 days and hopefully even after that on this channel for 100 days of UI design. Every single day I'm here with one other cool design, something that's so miles hordes better from the one we've done the previous day. So this has been the best one we've done yet, but we'll come back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time. I promise I'll get the time issue fixed. We'll come back exactly at 8 on the dot every single day. And until then, I'll see you. Bye.